आप्यायन्तु ममाङ्गानि वाक् प्राणश्चक्षुश्रोत्रमथो बलमिन्द्रियाणि च सर्वाणि सर्वं ब्रह्म उपनिषदम् माहं ब्रह्म निराकुर्याम् मा ब्रह्म निराकरोत् अनिराकरणमस्त्वनिराकरणं मे अस्तु तदात्मनि निरतेय उपनिषत्सु धर्मास्ते मयि सन्तु ते मयि सन्तु। ओम शांति शांति शांति।
Mahopanisad chapter 4 verse 72. Read.
अहं ब्रह्मेति नियतं मोक्ष हेतुर्महात्मनां द्वे पदे बन्ध मोक्षाय निर्ममेति ममेति च ममेति बध्यते जन्तुः निर्ममेति विमुच्यते।
Here are two words which indicate when bondage takes place and when one gets rid of bondage, discovers Swarupa, and thereby gets liberated. These two words are Aham, Mama, and Nirmama. Mama means mine, that which belongs to me. Nirmama, that doesn't belong to me, not mine. How they describe the bondage and liberation, that is explained in the third line. Jantuhu, that here human being only, because animals don't know what is bondage and liberation. Human being, mama iti badhyate. By taking anything as mine, one gets bound. To take something as mine, first you have to have identification of the body as aham, I. Without ahankara, without the I notion in the body, this embodiment, no one can have mamakara, mineness. So, first error is taking the body as I. Thereby, whatever that gets related to the body becomes mine. And the very fact that we identify with the body, we are giving the permission to this body to make us undergo the sukha dukkhatmaka samsara. Sukha dukkha's belong to the body embodiment. I, Atma, Chaitanya, which is Nirupadika, doesn't have this Vishaya Sukha and Dukkhas. But these at the level of the embodiment are mistaken as belonging to me, and that is what samsara is, that is what bondage, bandhana is. So therefore, mama iti jantuhu badhyati. On the contrary, nirmama iti vimuchyati. This doesn't belong to me in the sense one who has no identification in the body. In my presence, they come and go. Just as in the presence of the sun, clouds come and go. But they don't belong to the sun. Likewise, in presence of me, Chaitanya, body onwards, everything in the world comes and goes. I am entirely distinct from them. So, nirmama, that mamakara is nirgata, gone forever from oneself. It is possible only when one has discovered the Chaitanya Sarupa I. So long as I notion this body is there, it is impossible to have nirmamata. So therefore, knowing me in my Sarupa without identity with body is what? Moksha. Vimuchyate, that person gets liberated. Now, Rubu gives a piece of advice to Didaga. What is it? Look, what a mumukshu has to take to is Brahma Vichara, Atma Vichara. What is the nature of Atma? What is the nature of Brahma? That is what one has to inquire into. And one should not get entangled in the inquiry of Jiva, Ishvara and all that. Especially Ishvara. Of course, do make use of Ishvara to the fullest extent. But don't get involved too much in that. So therefore, what a mumukshu should be, should take to Brahma Vichara and need not get entangled in the Jiveshwa Jiva Ishvara Vada. Basic understanding is okay. But that itself cannot be the final goal as such. So therefore, giving up Jiva Ishvara Vada, one should take to Brahma Vichara, Atma Vichara by all means. Read Jiveshwara.
जीवेश्वरादिरूपेण चेतना चेतनात्मकम् ईक्षणादिप्रवेशान्ता सृष्टिरीशेन कल्पिता जाग्रदादिविमोक्षान्तः संसारो जीवकल्पितः.
From 73 up to 75. 73, 74 and 75. These mantras have already appeared in Varaha Upanishad. Varaha Upanishad, chapter 2, 53 to 56. Well, they discussed this, just a revision here. Ishena Jiveshwaradi Ikshanadi Praveshanta Chetana Chetanatmakam Srishti Kalpita. Ishena Jiveshwaradi Rupena Chetana Chetanatmakam. No, take this. Jiveshwarad Rupena, then take Ikshanadi Praveshanta, Chetana Chetanatmakam Srishti Kalpita. Rest as it is. Jagradad Vimokshanta Samsaraha Jiva Kalpita. This is what Ishvara has created. This is what Jiva has created. Ishena by Parameshwar, the creator principle. Brahma endowed with Maya Tattva, creative power, getting the status of Ishvara. Jiveshwaradi Rupena, in the form of Jiva and Ishvara. Ishvara also falls in the category of Srishti. Just as Jiva is in the realm of Srishti, so is Ishvara in the realm of Srishti. No Srishti, no Ishvara, no Jiva. Jiveshwarad Rupena. Ikshanadi Praveshanta. In this pursuit, Adi beginning from Ikshana, Anta ending with Pravesha. What is this? In the sense, Ikshana is consideration. What is the consideration? Let me become many. I myself will become many. In terms of Sankalpa, volition, actually it is the first modification that Maya or Prakriti, which is on the verge of creation. Just as this is clarified in Sankshepa Sharirika. What is the Ikshana? Observation, consideration. To consider the Antakarna is not there at all because Panchamahavutas are yet to be born. So therefore, what is that? It says, you have heard this. So kamayata bahusyam prajayeti Ikshana. Considered, desired, let me become many. That such types. These are called Ikshana Shrutis. There are few of them. So beginning of that Ikshana Adi means the first modification of Maya or Prakriti, which is on the verge of creation. Just as a seed, when it is about to sprout, gets swollen. The seed needs soil and the water. When it gets it, after some time, depending on what type of seed it is, it gets swollen and then slowly sprout emerges. That beginning process, as it were. Not actual change, but appearance like that. So Ikshana. Then created. Then Ishvara found that is of no use. Aitareshwati. Without me, this is of no use. Why? All the Srishti is inert mass. So Pravesha, entry. Again, what is entry? Not actual entry, because all pervasive Ishvara, all pervasive Atma cannot enter. Availability of Chidabhasa in the embodiment, whereby the inert embodiment becomes sentient and is capable of functioning. This is called Praveshuddhi. Tat Srishtva Tadevanupravishat. Having created, it entered that. So therefore, you should be very clear about what is Ikshana Shruti, what is Praveshruti. So Ishvara's creation is from Ikshana up to Pravesha. That is his realm. Praveshanta. And this, what is the Srishti? Chetana Chetanatmika Srishti. Cheta Chetanatmakam is there. Chetana Chetanatmika Srishti. Srishti comprising Sachetana, sentient, and inert entities. Inert entities. This is Srishti. Ishena Kalpita is projected, falsely projected by who? Ishvara. Whereas Jagradadi Vimokshanta Samsara, beginning from waking up to the liberation. This samsara Jiva Kalpitaha. Jiva Kalpita. It is created by who? Jiva. Ishvara Srishti being the same in it. Jiva also the one of the part of the Ishvara Srishti. In fact, Tat Srishtva Tadeva Pravishat. Having created the embodiment, Ishvara entered means it appeared as Jiva only because of Chidabhasa in the body. So that is beginning from waking up to the point of moksha, liberation, is this samsara is the creation, handiwork of Jiva, every individual. By the way, we have seen also this. Ikshanadi praveshanta srishti ishena kalpita. Jagradadi vimokshanta samsara jiva kalpita. Appears in Panchadashi in 3 chapters. In the 6th and 7th chapters, exactly like this. In the 8th chapter, few words slightly differ. 6th chapter, 213 verse, 213 verse. 7th chapter, 4th verse. 8th chapter, 69th verse. There slight variation is there. It is like this. Ikshanadi praveshanta srishti Ishakruta bhavet. Ishena kalpita in the place Isha Krita bhavet. Whereas Jagrada Dimokshanta Samsara here Jiva Kalpita is there. That is Jiva Kartrikaha. Created by Jiva. Meaning is one and the same. So this is how whether it is a Jiva Srishti or Ishvara Srishti is only a false projection. Don't get involved in that. To the extent Ishvara is useful, do make use of it. It is very good because you cannot get the help otherwise. But get past, discover your Swarupa. Then continue.
त्रिणाचिकादियोगान्ता ईश्वरभ्रान्तिमाश्रिताः लोकायतादिसाङ्ख्यान्ता जीवविभ्रान्तिमाश्रिताः.
As per this, 73, it should be clear that Parameshwara, who is not different from Brahman, but from the standpoint of Srishti, playing a particular role, appears as Ishvara, creator, and he creates out of oneself Srishti, which includes the Jiva, and abides there in the form of Chidabhasa. That means Jiva in reality is not different from Ishvara. Ishvara, the basis is on Brahma, but Jiva is Brahma Sarup. This is so. Though this is the fact, not knowing this, people distinguish between Jiva and Ishvara. They consider the Jiva to be separate from Ishvara. So were they? This appears in Katha and also Shvetashvara. Nachikadi Yoganta Chinachiketa. That appears in this both Katha and Shvetashvara. Beginning from Trinachikadi. Who is Trinachikadi? the person who has performed the Nachiketa fire sacrifice 3 times. Total this particular Virat Agni, Virat sacrifice was described as a means of going to heaven. And Nachiketa repeated all the details taught by Yama exactly. Seeing his Medha Shakti, Yama was very happy and he gives an additional boon. Not only that, he said, this sacrifice, which is otherwise called Virat Agni, henceforth will be called as Nachiketa Agni, like giving the road names to certain roads, like that. The context, remember, you must have heard the name of Swami Nityananda of Ganeshpuri. No more now. The great Jivan Mukta. He was in that Kasargod, Bangalore area. And he constructed roads. Roads were not there. Constructed roads. And paid the labor charges himself. The news went to the government, British government. So the collector said, from where this person is bringing money? So much of money, looks like he wears nothing but kaupina only, langoti. From where is he getting money? They suspected something foul must be there. And the officers were sent. Officers sent. And said, from where have you brought the money? Said, you want to see? Come with. He went. And he took them to a lake type, like a big pond or something, a lake type. And that lake was notorious for crocodiles and such things. Nobody used to dare to go near it. And the officers also knew that. In front of them, he just plunged in the lake. You know what madman is this? He has jumped here. For a long time, he is not coming out. He said, he madman died. Afterwards, he came out with both hands full of golden coins. They were surprised. They could not understand what it is all about. They went and reported to the collector. I think his name was Gawani. Actual British name, I don't know how Gawani. The collector thought, let me find out myself. Riding on a horse, those days no horses, no cars were not there. Riding on a horse, he came and met Swami Nityananda Baba. He asked, from where are you going to bring it? He said, look, your officials have verified it from where. And he said, look, what the government loses, this is the duty of the government to provide the roads. They have not provided. I have provided it. So what are you going to lose out of that? Collector also was convinced. He is not doing any harm to anyone. He is not cheating someone. He was not brought by thieving or something like that. He said he was convinced and did namaskara and returned. While returning, he was surprised. See, he was sitting with the Nityananda Baba, Swami Nityananda. And when he was going, he saw the road. There was nowhere nameplate. And when returning, from place to place, Mr. Gawani Road, Mr. Gawani Road, the collector's name was put. He was surprised. In the mind, he saluted. These Indian saints cannot be engaged as such. So he understood that. And he went. So like this. It was named after who? Collector. Like this. Yamaraja was so pleased with the Nachiketa, he named the Virat Agni as Nachiketa Agni. And one who does this thrice is called as Trinachiketa. Who has done this thrice. Beginning from those who are performing it means karma. It's a karma. Those who are karmis. That yoganta. With yoganta here, yogina. Those who take to Ashtanga Yoga, etc. Or the other word, Ishvara Bhranti Mashrita. This is on account of Maya, which creates the wrong notion. Maya belongs to Ishvara. So that is Ishvara Bhrantim Ashrita. They resort to the delusion created by Ishvara, means by the Maya. Whereas Lokayatari Sankhyantaha. From Lokayata. Loke Ayataha. Those who are spread far and wide in the world. You know who are they? Materialist. Materialist. Khao, pio, maja karo. Or in our Indian schools of thought, it's called Charvaka. Lokayata is Charvaka. So they are in majority. So materialism, what is they called? Consumerism. Take credit card. Make use of it. And if you can't repay, commit suicide. It happened in India, first time credit cards came. Some idiots thought that they can say. And when the repayment came, few have committed suicide also. So khao piyo maja karo. After that, what is that? Doesn't mind matter if you incur debt. Once you die, where is the question of repayment? So such type of people. Look at that. Someone said, when this COVID-19 started, right? This is the way of Ishvara's teaching, hard way of teaching of Ishvara. The soft way of teaching by Ishvara didn't work. People didn't take notice of what exactly the goal of life. Only after money, material enjoyment. So this is a whip, or what they call cane treatment by Uparwala, by Ishvara, to open the eyes. This by itself cannot be the goal of life. That is, riches, wealth is necessary, but it cannot be the goal of life. See, finally, you have to take to spirituality. That is why, see, people think these are old mentality people. They want to put the nation in the poverty and all that. Who told you all these things? Just see the history of Vedic age. India was the country who was exporting maximum in the world. Production was too great. Education system was all great, because you can find the principle behind this is Vedas consider both types of education. Paravidya, aparavidya. As Mundaka Upanishad puts it. Dve vidde veditavve paracha aparayiti. One has to take two types of knowledge. One is apara, one is para, other is apara. Para means exalted. Apara means not bad, not exalted. What is para? Yaya tat aksharam adhigamyate. That knowledge by which aksharam, indestructible, Brahma is known. Means Upanishadic knowledge, Adhyatma Vidya. And all branches of knowledge other than Adhyatma Vidya are Apara Vidya, including Karma Kanda and Upasana Kanda in the Vedas, except the Jnana Kanda Upanishad portion. Both were there. Among, again, Apara leads to Para. Just as primary education to high secondary to college, like that, higher studies. So it's not, these are not at loggerheads. But if you give importance only to Apara Vidya at the cost of Para Vidya, you are landing in a situation the world is today. Better discover this. So Bhagavan taught this in Gita, etc., soft way. Didn't work. Abhi dena thappad. Hard ways. So, Lokayata. Lokayata, then Adi beginning from them. Sankhyanta. Sankhya school of thought which indulges in duality. Purusha and Prakriti are different. Final level they do the duality. So this is not correct. So therefore these are all Jiva Vibhranti Mashrita. These are the erroneous notion spun, projected by Jiva. So therefore, here is a piece of advice to Mukshu. Mukshu, don't get entangled in this. Straight away take to Atma Vichara, Brahma Vichara. Do have the bhakti towards Ishvara, because he is the friend, philosopher and guide, but he also is in the realm of creation. And finally, you have to get past that also. Read.
Tasman mumukshibhirnaiva matirjiveshvadayoho karya kintu brahma tattvam nischalena vicharyatam.
Tasman, because of what is described so far, mumukshubhi, by mumukshu, jiveshvadayo mati naiva karya. They should not put their mind in this discussion about Jiva and Ishvara. Don't get entangled in them, because it is of no use. Finally, you have to discover your Sarupa, which is Brahma Sarupa. Kintu, what should be done? Nischalena, with a firmness, resoluteness, Brahma Tattvam Vicharyatam. The nature of Brahma has to be inquired into, Vicharyatam. Here one more thing. This dispute or argument, whether karma is shrestha or jnana is shrestha, or Whether karma is exalted or knowledge is exalted, or bhakti is exalted or knowledge is exalted. These are all irrelevant arguments. Someone was arguing, why should Shankaracharya criticize and condemn karma? Who told you this? Shankaracharya never, and he points out, second chapter of Brahma Sutra. Shankaracharya has not condemned or criticized karma, but he has very clearly told that though karma is indispensable to gain antakarana shuddhi, karma by itself cannot be parama purushartha moksha. Is very emphatic about this. Karma can be the means of liberation indirectly, but not directly. Indirectly means what? Karma gives Shuddhanta Karna. By Shuddhanta Karna, one is able to gain the knowledge. For example, let us see Bhakti also. Make use of Bhakti is a part of karma only, upasana only. Vedanta doesn't deny that. But you should know how long. Very important Vedanta. What means to be taken up to what time? After one has to grow out of them. So here we can find in the Bhagavad Gita Bhashya, second chapter, 46 verse, Yavan Artha Udapane, etc. Bhashyakara says, Prak Jnan Nishtadhikara Prapte. Before gaining the eligibility of the disposition, mental readiness to gain nishtha, firm abidance in the Atma Jnana. Prak Jnana Nishtadhikara Prapte. Till then, by a person who is eligible to take to karma. Karmani adhikritena. By person who is eligible to take to karma, not sannyasis. Brahmachari, grihastha, and vanaprastha. By that person. Karma kartavyam. Karma has to be taken. And what is the role of karma? He says in that context of the verse, Upa tatagadyartha sthaniyam api. Their illustrations are like this. Well, Kupa, Tadaga, a shallow lake, or a big, what is that? Tadaga lakes are useful to get the water. How long? Suppose there is a river and it is flooded, wherein the well and the lake also have got submerged. You don't go to the well, find out the well, etc. You got to ready the water. The river is the flood. That is, but if it is not so, well, lakes are the sources of water. Not when it is flooded everywhere. Like that, till Atma Jnana, Brahma Jnana, liberation is gained, karmas are useful like the role of well and lakes, etc. when the flood is not everywhere. You can't deny that. Till then, till one gets this, what is that? nishtha, no, eligibility to gain jnana nishtha karma have to be taken. Because without that eligibility, one takes to sannyasa, is in trouble. The only means the karma has given up, and he has given up the karmas. So for them, some via media is given. Guru Shushrusha and then Rudra Adhyaya. O Namaste Rudramanyam Utota Ishave Namah, etc. That is what Parayana of that given. So karma has a role, but it is not an end. So such arguments, one should not enter into such arguments. Elsewhere it is said, yes. Fala Trishna Shunyena Kriyamani Karmani. A person, Karma Yoga. A person who does the karmas for the sake of discharging the duty, and the result of action is not the criterion for this being. Not that he doesn't want, etc. It is not the criterion of taking to karma. Phala Trishna Shunyena Kriyamani Karmani. Sattva Shuddhija Jnana Prapti Lakshana Siddhi. So, Sattva Shuddhija, Antakarana Shuddhija, born of Antakarana Shuddhi. Jnana Prapti Lakshana Siddhi. A Siddhi which makes him eligible to gain the knowledge and afterwards have the steadfastness that for that karma is necessary. Bhagavan has very clearly said, Arurukshoho Munir Yogam Karma Karanamachate. Yogarudasa Tasyaiva Shama Karanamachate. He gives the demarcates the point up to which karma to be taken to and where afterwards they have to be discarded. A person Arurukshoho Munir Yogam. Yoga here is Chitta Samadhana. Absorption of the mind in the Atma Sarup. One who wants to accomplish the Munehe Karma Karanamachate. The means is karma. Yoga Rudha Satasaiva. Same person who is Yoga Praptaha, who has got the disposition whereby he can make the mind absorb the Sarupa. Shamaha means Karma Tyag. Karanamachate is called the means. So, not knowing the import of all Shastra, just arguing for the sake of argument, the waste of time. Waste of time is waste of life. Time is very important because the time at our disposal is very short. In that, we have to discover Sarupa. We don't know how many cobwebs are there in the Antakarana. How long it will take to have the Antakarana Shuddhi, unless they are fortunate who have already accomplished that in the past life. So, a mumukshu should not indulge in such arguments. Better it takes to Brahma Vichara. Now, the glory, Mahima of this Nirvishesha Brahmajnana, knowledge of Brahma free from features, free from upadhis. Nirvishesha Brahmajnana Mahima. Read 76.
अविशेषेण सर्वं तु यः पश्यति चिदन्वयात् स एव साक्षात् विज्ञानी स शिवः स हरिर्विधिः
यः तु Sarvam avisheshena chidanvayat pashyati saha eva साक्षाद विज्ञानी सहा शिवः सहा हरिः विधिः हरिः विधि. One who sees like this, one who has got such knowledge, yaha where he may be, sarvam avisheshena pashyati. Avisheshena means without the visheshas, without the specific features of upadhis. Upadhi means you are in the realm of creation. Free from upadhi means what remains is Chaitanya and Chaitanya Sarupa Brahma alone. Because the Jagat is something falsely attributed in terms of Visheshas to Chaitanya Brahma. So one was sifted, one was taken to Viveka of discovering the Chaitanya free from superimposed Visheshas of the Jagat. So there was Pashyati. And how he Pashyati? Chidanvayat Pashyati. Chit Chaitanya permeating in and through the entire Jagat. And Jagat coming and going, Chaitanya alone, first and the last. So in this manner, so in and through the Jagat, he is able to see Sama Brahma. His mind is not focused on the upadhis, but it is focused on Chaitanya. In Bhagavad Gita, you find such a verse, Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastini Shuni Chaiva Shvapakecha Pandita Samadarshina. Pandita, not scholars here, jnanis. Samadarshina. They see one and the same, Sama, Nirvikara, changeless Brahma, in and through all these of different types, different categories, in different types of upadhis. Uttama upadhi. A Brahmana who is Vidya Vinaya Sampanna, highly learned, at the same time, but has got humility. Very important. Otherwise, no, you get knowledge and then get develop an ego. That is, you are someone great as such. In the Subhashita is there. Vidya Vinayena Shobhate. Vidya looks more beautiful by Vinaya, by being humble, not arrogant. Shobhate. You know that we have seen this many times. Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar. He was like an ordinary person, such a great learned person he was. At times, even Mahatmas also. Some may be appear royally something else, but others may appear as very ordinary person. Same thing. Swami Nityananda of Ganeshwari. One lady heard about him, etc. And she went. The old story, when he was, means all these mandirs, etc., were not constructed yet. So he went. And she doesn't know where to find him, etc. She's Hindu. So she found a person with a stick in the hand, and on the body only kaupina, langoti only is there, nothing else is there, and walking. She had a couple of children were with him. She asked, here Swami Nityananda Maharaj is there. Where is he? Asked who? Nityananda. He simply said, they call this body Nityananda. People call this body as Nityananda. She understood, she fell at the feet of him. Simple. A kaupinadhari. So like that. So that bahya, external appearance doesn't give all the time the inner truth of inner truth. So here, learned person, humble. So that is our Vidya. So now, Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane. Such a great exalted person. Gavi, Gau, a mediocre animal, good in nature, useful to humanity. Gavi, Hastini, in the elephant. Shuni, lower embodiment. Dog, Shwapaka, Chandala, dog eater, most heinous person. In and through all these, though the upadhis are varying, higher and lower, one who says Sama Brahma, one and the same Brahma in and through all this. So that is how Avisheshena, without the Chaitanya Brahma, without these superimposed attributes of upadhis, yaha chidanvayat pashyati, because of permeation of Chaitanya in and through all this upadhi jagat, he says Chinmatra only. His attention is focused on Chit Matra, Chaitanya only, and not carried away by specific features of the upadhi's embodiment. Just as electricity is one, gadgets are innumerable with innumerable functions, but one who wants to know the truth behind this, his mind is centered on that power, electricity, and not the manifestation in the innumerable gadgets. Saha eva, such a person only is who? Sakshad Vijnani is a person who has got direct experience, direct knowledge called Sakshatkara of Atma Brahma, which is Chaitanya and Chaitanya alone, which is Chit and Chit alone. And you know his stature, Saha Shivaha, is at par with Shiva, Mangala Sarupa, Chit Shivaha, Chaitanya and Chaitanya alone. Saha Harihi, He is Vishnu, the exalted deities. Again, he is what? Vidhi. Vidhi is Virinchi, Brahmaji, Trimurti, one of the trinities. Now, how to get this knowledge? Is the path easy? You decide. This first thing, you will be required to turn your attention, which is externally preoccupied, withdraw from there and has to make it internal introvert. Bahirbukha mana has to be made antarbukha. First prerequisite means you have to withdraw from your present preoccupation in the Vishayas. Vishaya Tyaga is necessary. This is difficult because our all values are centered in Vishayas. The mind needs to be educated. Viveka has to be taken to. Thereby, one has to discover that the Drishya Vishayas cannot make me make me contented person. They have no capacity to give me that which I seek in life. And when you discover that, you do not have any interest in them, you withdraw from them. What is called as Vishaya Tyaga. In the beginning, it is very difficult. It's pointed out. Read.
Durlabho Vishayatyagaha Durlabham Tattvadarshanam Durlabha Sahajavastha Sadguro Karunam Vina.
Sadguru Karunam Vina. Without the compassion of a competent guru, well versed the Shastras, and has got Nishtha in the Brahma Jnana. Without his compassion, your compassion is what? In terms of make you inquire into the Atma Sarupa, Brahma Sarupa, on the guidelines of Shastra, and also impressing upon the disciple the necessities of adjustments in his personality in terms of Viveka, Vairagya, etc. That is what compassion. Why? He has no reason why he should teach you. He doesn't know anything and he has nothing to get out of that. Except perhaps headache if the disciples are not disciplined. But out of compassion, he shares. Because he also got it from his guru. So that it is like this. Suppose you are driving in an unknown place. You don't know where exactly destination is, what address is. What do you do nowadays? Set the GPS, Global Positioning System. And some lady who you don't know at all gives instruction. You implicitly follow it. Is it not? You don't know that lady. But she doesn't speak something from her pocket. She is only reading, as it were, the GPS, and you follow. That's Shraddha and the GPS. Like that, Adhyatma Shas, Adhyatma Vidya is unknown realm without the GPS of Shastra and one who can decode it or announce it like that lady. How are you going to proceed? So therefore, Guru is indispensable. Compassion of Guru is necessary. Without that, he said, Vishaya Tyaga, Tattva Darshana, and abidance in the Atma Swarupa becomes very, very, very difficult. We'll see that. Oh.
स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्ताम् न्यायेन मार्गेण महीं महिषाः गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यम् लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु काले वर्षतु पर्जन्यः पृथिवी सस्यशालिनी देशोऽयं क्षोभरहितः ब्राह्मणाः सन्तु निर्भयाः ॐ सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ